Hey guys, Nathan Masters here with Brick System Brothers, and I've got a little hobby shop haul to look at. And this one's interesting. I usually don't buy too much from hobby shops just because the price sometimes can be a little prohibitive. But this one is local, and we don't have too many local ones. And the other thing with this one is it gets updated quite a bit. So there's actually a lot to choose from. Whatever time I end up going down. This is from a JCDN Hobby in Des Moines, so that's about a half hour, 40-minute drive from where I go to school. And yeah, I try to stop in if I'm in town at least. And they sell these little tubs for $10. And I try to usually keep them at lid level, but I ended up getting these windshields and it started bulking up. I think if I repacked them, I probably could have got them in pretty close to like flat, but they don't have lids and they aren't too strict about having a few pieces piled on top. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But so yeah, I just wanted to look at some of the pieces here that I was able to pick up. Some really interesting stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and dump these out. Okay, so in a minute I'm gonna kind of sort through these a little bit, but I did want to pick some of the big pieces out first. So just windshields. Actually, I think they had just restocked their windshields bin, so there's some really good selection. Some of these older Arctic ones, and then some big canopies as well. So this is actually only in one AquaZone set, so that's a nice one to have. This is not as old as I thought. This was in a Space Police set and some recent Avengers helicarriers. These are a little bit older. I don't know where the light blue one comes from, but these dark blue ones are from like the Arctic, the vintage Arctic run that we got. That's in Lego Movie 2 video game, or no, not Lego Movie 2, Lego Racers 2. Sorry about that. I don't know why, but I like to grab these when I see them. They're kind of like the space hallway pieces, and then some in neon green, some in just regular trans orange, so those aren't as old. And then this one was actually really interesting. It was like the like a wall piece of some kind. So I haven't seen one in blue before. Grab that one. Here's an old airplane windshield with the studs on the bottom. I have one without the stud connector here. It's just like a flat perimeter all the way around. So, and then, like the blue one of these, and another green one there. This is like from the bug crawlers in the old, not Classic Space, but like Space Police 2, somewhere in there. And then these rock pieces are really cool. They've got this kind of dual mold thing going on with the dark gray and maybe a little bit of brown, and then some of this orange on here. Maybe that brown is just from the mixing of the colors. So the interesting thing with these molds is, I think it's just the two of them. Since it's like a marbled piece, each one is going to be pretty unique. When you look down at the detail level, just in terms of like where colors are coming together, so you get slight differences in all of these, and no two are exactly the same, even though these are pretty close. I don't know what these are from, some kind of pneumatic container of some kind, so I grabbed two of those. It was cool to see. And then this guy is a print, 18, don't know what that's from, but I like how it looks. It's very nice. This is like one of those old ice mission sets or something. It's got like the red on there, and it goes in 4x8 or 4x10 kind of shell that holds that in place. So yeah, so those are kind of the bigger pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and sort these out a little bit and then do a general overview of what I picked up. Okay, so I got these all sorted out by color now, and I've set aside a few things to take a close look at, and then I'm just going to try to move really fast through everything else. So there's a few things down here that I did want to show, and the lighting isn't great. Hold on a second. Get some other light going here. Okay, so this is piece from the Naboo Starfighter. It's just a printed fish on a slope. I hadn't even seen it before, so I picked that one up. Here is a nice vintage example of what they used to do for lights. And this is a 4.5 volt little piece that you plug in your wiring system to, and it diffuses the light with this nice clear piece in here. So this is going to be maybe 30 years old. Sometimes they are not really in working condition, but this one looks pretty decent. I actually don't have a way to test this, so I don't know if this is going to be really nice or not. But yeah, go ahead and throw that in there, no problem. I did grab a few of these sticker pieces just for what it's worth. Might be able to resell these on Bricklink if I ever get a store going, so I grabbed 2 of those. A red lamp post, which is really nice. I think I've only seen this in a Hogwarts set a while back. Maybe it was in a one of the older themes back when they were having some struggles. So yeah, red light post with, and if you count the flutes on the bottom here, there's 6 flutes instead of 4, so there's just 2 variants of that piece. I've got this little 1x2 sink or little faucet here. Last time I checked on Bricklink, these were surprisingly, worth a little bit of money. This one's interesting. This is an example of the just a different kind of part mold where they swapped it out. And originally it was a very thin bar in the middle, and the new piece has a thicker bar. So I actually grabbed one of both. The old ones you'll see all over the place in secondhand. If you go to a garage sale with some older sets, I believe they were in a couple Arctic, stuff like that. Here's a nice example of a old blue torso with kind of just the shoulders there that didn't really go to any hands or anything. And instead of an actual neck that was longer, it just has a stud on there, and the stud has the logo. So this is not too many of these. They only made this kind of minifigure for a couple years before they went to the ones with the arms. And this one's in pretty nice condition as well for how old it is. And speaking of minifigures, I was able to find a head, Star Wars head. I think this is like Anakin Skywalker with the freckles. I found a printed dress piece from, who knows when. And yeah, just decided to throw that in there. Cowboy hat over here, hairpiece, and then these horse helmets are pretty cool to have those. Grabbed 2 of those. Surprised those were still there. The other stuff I kind of had set aside. Here's a tile with that Lego box print on there. So those are really fun. That's just the sticker though, so it might not last too long. These are cool. This is a gem in trans neon orange. So I think I got 3 of those over here. And then some of this electronic styling. The other yellow pieces I got with printing were from the Naboo Starfighter. So it's got kind of those symbols on there from Star Wars. And I don't really know what this piece is from. Sometimes I grab these just because, they're weird and they're wonky. They probably aren't worth very much, but it's like back when Lego didn't have a strict policy on new molds, and they would just make whatever they wanted sometimes. The chrome grill, those are always nice. So that's kind of it for the stuff I wanted to look at in detail. The rest of this is just out by color, and maybe a few things from each color I'll choose to look at. This is a neon blue. They have these in a lot of Minecraft sets, so this will actually glow under a black light. I went ahead and grabbed a bunch of the azure and light azure. I call it this color like a sky blue. And then I also grabbed a bunch of the medium blue, or it's just a really light blue that's been around for a while. I tried to get some bricks so that I could work on my Market Street. I have kind of a rebuilt version in my city right now. I'd like to build that back into the original Market Street. Here's a sand blue ridge cap with that peak on there. So I'm not sure what this is from, but could be useful. And then the other thing I grabbed were a bunch of these, and these are vintage 2x2 slopes. They've got the old logo stamped on there and kind of more of a rougher surface for this finish on there. Other vintage pieces, I found these 2x3s in red, and it's really on the logo. I'll see if I can get it up under the light. It's just kind of a different lettering style, but one red one, 3 white ones. These are all vintage, so those are cool. So these are going to be definitely 60s. Whenever they redid their logo stamp on the studs is when these got changed. And then a 2x2 and a 1x2. Sometimes harder to find the smaller ones. Here's a neon orange, probably like a Bionicle piece of some kind. I'm not really sure, and haven't seen it before, so I grabbed that one. A couple small little prints on some computer pieces, and this is a print for like a podium. Unfortunately, didn't find the 2x2 with the number 1 on there, so I just have the 2x6 with 2 and 3. And a couple of these gears, which I would love to know how to make better use of these, because I got one in the motor kit, the Motor Technic kit, Power Functions, and it's just like, it's like a friction gear maybe, but if you guys have used those before and they have a specific use, go ahead and drop that in the comments, because I'd like to know. I did find one of these fences for like the pasture style, so those are always cool to grab when they're available. A bunch of these 2x2 green tiles from the soccer fields, and then I stumbled upon just a whole bunch of these little 1x1 tan with the outside corner studs. So it's only on the 2 sides like that, and I haven't had a lot of builds where those would been useful, like just 1 or 2, but man, when you need them, it's nice to have them, because they do allow for some interesting techniques when those are used. Another one of these peaks in red this time, so I guess I could do kind of like a little theme here. I think I also found one in this orange juice color. That's what I call it anyway. Where did that go? Did I set that one aside? There it is. Okay, so here's these little peaks. I don't know why I collect these, but they're cute. And now I have 3 very nice colors, like that. Okay, moving on. What else is in here? This kind of 2-piece corner bump out with that wall profile I was talking about. So this looks... Oh, no, I stand corrected. I need one more spacing in here to kind of hold those apart. And then this would line up as kind of a corner module for like an underwater. This one's from the Aqua Zone or you know, Underwater Explorers theme, but all of those line up pretty close. 2 red doors like this. Don't see a lot of those. Red fence. Where's the blue? Yeah, the blue little corkscrew piece. I think this only came in 1 set back in the early 2000s. Outside corner in blue. This is a different color. I call it indigo, and compared to blue, it's like a slightly purplish color. I don't know. They're pretty cool. I think they're from back when they had the Big Fig night minifigs. Or not minifigs, just like the buildable, posable action figures. Early 2000s castle theme is when they used that color a lot, and I haven't seen it since. I would like more pieces in this color. I just don't know, you know, at what point does it get to be not really a novelty color anymore. So I'm kind of glad those were pretty limited, because then when you do find them, it's a little more special maybe. What else do I want to look at? Looked at the jewels. Bunch of these dark red. Oh yeah, here's a really narrow old window. You don't see a lot of these anymore. Glad to pick that up. This is like one of those hyperdrive rings, I think, from the old Millennium Falcon. Maybe not quite that piece, but a really similar styling. I'll have to figure out what that goes to. 2 really interesting domes here in just dark green and neon green. And then the base of the Alien Conquest or like Galaxy Squad from the late 2000s or maybe 2012. There's like these eggs or whatever. I think I've got my guy over here. Yeah, so this is the guy from that series with this piece. This one is interesting. Not sure what it's from or what it's for. That is a sticker though on there, so I grabbed that. Here's a neon panel hexagon with the clips. 2 old classic space maybe with those corners on there. So then what you do with these is if you have 2 of the same hand, you can start lining those corners up and you get that really nice transition, which they've got different ways to make these now, but back in the 80s and the 90s this was the only way to get that smooth transition when you're using these angle plates. Copper flex tube, haven't seen one of those. Could come in handy down the road. There were a couple of these yellow 1x2 slopes with the hollow bottom. So that's again with the vintage style more, just kind of to have as a collectible almost. I grabbed a bunch of these orange juice 1x1 cheese slopes because they're cool. 2 of these hollow yellow cases. I'm starting to ramble now. I don't know, there's not too much else that's really interesting. Here's the old jack base, missing the upper part. I did grab as many of these as I could. These are the 1x2 translucent, completely hollow 1x2s. So these are cool if you have a lot of them, or if you have a few of them. You know, like if you have a lot, I've seen this mosaic that somebody made of the Lego logo with just a bunch of these 1x2 reds. I'll throw a picture in if I can find it. But other than that, you know, like they make cool windows and stuff like that. I feel like there is another blue, more interesting blue stuff to look at here. Oh yeah, this Technic in blue, you don't see too many of those. Here's a saddle. The slopes, I would say this is definitely, I picked a slope heavy for this lot. Just because I'm starting to look at maybe building some modular style. And speaking of modulars, if you guys have seen the new bookshop set that was just announced, it's going to start selling in January. I took a really close look at the roof, and I think, this is just what I've seen, I think the transition back to the side of the house, they actually use a black one of these, and I would really like to match the rest of the roof, which is dark blue. So I'm going to try to get 4 of these. I might have enough already, but just maybe swap these out if I end up buying that modular. So it's nice to have those on hand. I did manage to find some of the Speed Champions tires, although I only got one with the rim in it. So I'll have to look for the rims now. Other white pieces of interest. Not really anything over here. A Technic Fig diving fin flipper, which I only had 1 of before, so I needed 2 to get to the set. So now I have a set of 2, and that's about it. Take a closer look here, just through the stack. Some reds, the browns with this wall panel. Haven't seen a lot of those, so I grabbed some. And then the blacks, I ended up just with some slopes and these angle plates for a project I'm working on. And the yellows are really nice. I did get a lot of this orange juice color, which is kind of a, oh man, well that's a knockoff piece. Well, oh well, he's out. Yeah, so anyways, this orangish yellow color is really nice to have as an accent for some projects. So I try to grab those when I can. Ended up with a lot of bricks this time, which is nice. Could come in handy for a modular. Here's a neon 1x2. And then in the blues, just that, the kind of newer azure and sky blue colors could be handy. And then over to the white bricks, some slopes and plates in there. A couple tiles. And then the greens. Other slopes over here. But yeah, these are probably not the best of the pick, but I would say some of the interest pieces. and good to get those. So yeah, that's kind of an overview of what I was able to pick up. Not bad for 20 bucks. And if you're around the Des Moines area and you're looking for secondhand Lego, go ahead and stop in. I don't go down there enough to make myself a regular, but I definitely try to stop in when I'm in town, and I feel like it's worth it. So, all right, see you later.